What's up, guys? It's John here, in plain sight, and I thought the ever a fitting video for this channel, it would be MrBeast. I typically do sports, try and do movies, but in this case, MrBeast, he's might have a bigger YouTube following than any individual athlete out there, and it's odd because I've seen so many of people either reacting or just watching these influencers, and they'll call them out every time. But MrBeast never seems to get called out. Maybe because he's like the top guy, but nobody ever calls like out the obvious fiasco that is his show. If you look at it, it's the most staged show there is, and I'm not just gonna talk about it. I've been putting this video together for a while. It's actually why I've been offline for a little bit, just because I've been uploading a lot of different things. This one channel, Rylick, was nice enough to let me use a video he had put together because I want to add what I have just to show that this guy is ridiculously fake about everything. Nothing he says makes sense. Everything he says regarding his fake money, which I'm sure has been brought to light, has been a contradiction. So yeah, I do hope you enjoy the video. It's very eye-opening, especially if you've watched MrBeast. If you didn't have suspicions, I think you definitely will after this video. If you already had suspicions, kind of like I did when I watched Rylick's video, who again has allowed me to use his and mine, it just reconfirms it. It just makes it so obvious once you kind of know. So yeah, I do hope you enjoy it. Just let me know in the comments what you think. To me, it was just one of those things, again, where I was watching this guy's channel. I said, okay, seems like a cool dude. And then you get about a couple, 5, 6, 7 bits in, and then you start realizing, this all seems a little too choreographed. So that's what I noticed. You'll see some ridiculous stuff, but I think essentially it's paid actors. I think these people are either like the uncles, family members of MrBeast, people just hired, because, and I'm gonna do plenty of more videos on this. I figured I would tackle like each episode, I guess, like each bit he did at a time. But his island, I'm gonna go into that. I think it's a fake island. I don't think he even bought one. And again, using just some camera cuts and just honestly bullshitting people, he can convince anybody of almost anything. You'll see in the video, he doesn't actually prove anything. He just says stuff, and I don't want to belabor that. So I hope you enjoy the video. Just let me know what you think in the comments.
Today we're going to be exposing MrBeast, I guess. Never thought this would happen, but I was watching one of his newer videos and I was like, yeah, this is not real. You guys who watch MrBeast are being lied to. I'm just going to go through one of his videos and just sort of describe the problems with it that people might not realize as they watch the video, just so that you guys can hopefully find out that his videos are actually indeed fake. At least some of them. I mean, I think some of his videos are definitely real. But who knows? So we're just gonna be watching through his new video right here. It's called "Press Subscribe for 10 cents." 17 million views in 2 days. So
for the entire.
I watched this video on my stream last night or yesterday at some point, and I went through and talked about my issues with it. And I was gonna make that into this video that you guys are watching right now, but I figured, hey, it's fine. I'm just going to re-record the issues with it and just get right to the point.
Year of 2021, every time someone subscribes,
I will 10 cents to charity. Now, the first problem with this is that we don't know what charity it is. Now, if you think I'm just nitpicking random shit in this video, that's what I'm doing. Essentially, I'm nitpicking through everything in this video. There's going to be a lot more stuff later in this video that you guys are going to see that you guys are going to be like, yeah, that's completely fake and he's a liar. So the first thing in this video is that he says, oh, he's giving money to charity. Which charity? We have no idea that that's true, and he is in no way proving that at all.
About 3 million people subscribe to the channel, which means I'm gonna give away this $300,000 mountain of money to people in need. Starting with this.
Now, something you guys have to understand right here is that this is not real money. These are all $1 bills. If you look at them, if you can get like a close-up, if you can look at that, these are all $1 bills. 300,000 singles. $1 bills, George Washington bills. These are all single dollar bills, and these are all 100% completely fake. A person can't get 300,000 single dollar bills. You can't do that. You can't walk into a bank and walk out with 300,000 single dollar bills. If you walk into a bank, they probably have like maybe less than 1,000 single dollar bills. Oh, well, he just went to 30 or 300 banks to get all the money, right? Yeah, no. Sorry, completely fake. This mountain of money is not real money. Something to keep in mind for a little bit later in this video.
I noticed your sign out front. Are you guys struggling?
Almost 11 months now.
Good enough for me. Here's $30,000 in a duffel bag. Huh?
Now, keep in mind, as you look at this money, this is the same folded, crinkled money from the beginning of the video. This pile of fake money that's not real money. I saw a video of someone else who exposed MrBeast for using fake money in his videos, because during some of his older videos, you can zoom in and you can see the money that people are holding is actually fake money. Now, MrBeast's defense for this was that, yes, in the video they give people fake money, but then after they turn the camera off, they write the person a check for the money. Now, yeah, I guess that could technically prove it, but we don't see any proof of that, and that's completely illogical as well. Their reasoning to do that is so that people aren't walking around with just a pile of money. And, you know, that obviously makes sense because, you know, if you saw someone carrying around, you know, a bunch of money, you'd probably want to steal that money. A lot of people would try and steal that money. So if they had a pile of money with them, it would probably get stolen. So writing them a check would probably be better. But in a situation like this, in this guy's own restaurant, with nobody else there, who's going to steal the money? Who's going to steal this? They're completely alone here. No one, there's no threat of him getting the money stolen. And MrBeast is here giving him the bag of fake money. So he's not actually giving him any money. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Can I touch?
Yeah, you can touch it, of course.
I can pay my bills now.
I think it's safe to say you don't need this sign anymore.
And again, we still have absolutely no context. We have no idea who this guy is or what business he runs. It looks like he maybe serves Mexican food. Looks like some type of, like, taco right there, I guess. But, I don't know. There's just no context, no proof of anything.
Next place. Up next, I'm paying for everyone's rent in this apartment complex. So I heard because of the pandemic, a lot of people here are struggling to pay rent.
That is correct. Unfortunately, a lot of our residents have lost their jobs or have problems.
No worries. Chandler, come here. Just like you said on the phone, here's enough money to cover everyone's rent.
Oh my goodness.
So he gave $15,000 of, again, the still fake money, which, again, I don't know why. Now, if we go over here and look at North Carolina apartments for rent, let's see how much apartments cost. So here we see $1,460 up to $7,000, $1,200, $1,200, $1,200, $1,200, $1,200, $1,200. 1,000, 1,200, 1,300, 1,000. So over $1,000. Okay, over $1,000 to rent an apartment in North Carolina. He's giving $15,000. This is an apartment complex. There are way more people living there than 15. And again, he still gave this lady fake money after claiming that she was the property manager, and we've not seen that. There's no proof of that.
Kind of heavy.
It's extremely heavy. This is going to change so many lives, and I'm so excited for the residents to find out the great news.
You were telling me you also manage those apartments? These over here?
Yes.
Can I also pay for their rent? Chandler, give me another duffel bag. Here you...
I guess they just have another duffel bag full of the exact same amount of money, the exact same $15,000, which is, again, a duffel bag of fake money that they just had laying around, just in case this random thing happened. Interesting.
Here you go, for their rent as well. Do you also manage those apartments?
No, I don't.
Sad. This is a sports car, and this is a giant red circle, and this is a shovel. This is Jacob, a random subscriber. Basically, I parked.
Now, again, the next thing I don't get about this video, or MrBeast's videos in general, is that he's just like, oh hey, we got this random subscriber. Like, huh? Like, where do you get these people? You find some random subscriber Jacob, how'd you find him? Did you just scroll through his subscriber list? Or is this a friend? Or is this like, I don't know, Carl's uncle or something? Like, who is this? How do we know this isn't just a friend of MrBeast's? How do we know that this isn't his car already? Like, it's a nice, you know, $20,000 to $80,000 Camaro, right? In the video, he says, "Oh, I Ubered there." First of all, how did MrBeast get in contact with this guy? And like, none of this makes any sense.
Parked the car there, and I took the keys. And then I buried the keys somewhere in this red circle.
Now, if that was true, you would see where the keys are buried. Later in the video, you're going to see the keys are actually buried about right here. Quote unquote buried, they're not actually buried. But if the keys were buried, you'd see some fresh soil. It's the middle of winter in North Carolina. This ground is pretty cold. They're all wearing hoodies. It's probably like 50 degrees outside. And there's, you know, you would see where the keys are actually buried at. So later in the video, they claim that it's like around here somewhere. But you would see some dirt if that was actually true. So we know that this whole part of the video is completely fake. There's been no proof of anything.
And if you find the keys to this car by the end of the night, you get to keep it. Have fun, we'll see you in a few hours.
All right, I'll get to digging.
Good luck. Now we're at Best Buy, and we're gonna buy every single PlayStation 5 and laptop in this store. I hope you guys...
Now, I don't know if you guys watching this video have ever tried to buy a PlayStation 5, but if you have, PlayStation 5s are not readily available everywhere. In fact, finding a PlayStation 5 is an incredibly difficult task. It is very, very hard to find a PlayStation 5 available anywhere. You need to buy them at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now that isn't just the worst part about this. You have to buy them online. The only way you can get one is by paying for it online. So the next thing here to keep in mind is that not only do you have to buy them online, but you can only get one per household, one per person, one per family. You need to put in an address and contact information on the website to buy these things. You have to pick them up from online. You can't just walk into the back of the store and pick them all up. And they're doing this in the middle of the day when the store is open. This is completely fake. You can't just walk into the back of a Best Buy and buy all their PlayStation 5s. There are so many rules against that. You know, you can't just walk in the back and buy them, because then scalpers would do that and people couldn't find PlayStation 5s. This is so incredibly fake.
You guys ate your Wheaties, there's a lot of these. Am I even allowed to be up here?
No, probably not. I bet everybody watching this that wants a PS5 is really mad because we have like 25 of them.
And now we're gonna buy all...
Yeah, also, stores don't stock that many. I've seen the videos of people who are like watching the different websites and pages as they come in stock. They don't carry that many. They usually have like 5 to 10, maybe 12 if you're lucky, not 25, and you definitely couldn't buy them all.
The Max. Are these like $1,500 a laptop?
Hey man, there's a lot of people subscribing.
Each of these laptops is 15,000 of views. And you might be wondering why we need so many PlayStation 5s and Max. Well, because we're giving them away to a bunch of high schoolers. And then we're gonna...
First of all, high schools are closed. High schools are 99% closed. There are some high schools that are open. Like, personally, my high school is open so that half of the school can show up every, like, other day or something like that. I don't know, I just do online. But only half the students can show up for half the days. Now, the next thing here is, why and how are they able to get into the school? Because there's no one here, so how would they be able to get in? Like, the only time that schools are open is during a school day, And definitely they wouldn't just let a bunch of guys walk in here with a bunch of boxes. I don't know if you guys watching this video are aware of something called a bomb, but yeah, a bomb could very well be in any of these boxes, in theory, you know, from the security guard standpoint. You can't walk into a school. Coming from someone who's been going to public schools for years, I can tell you that in a school, you can't just walk in. You have to be a student, teacher, like faculty of some kind, administration, or like a parent of a student. Random people can't just walk in. And at a lot of schools, they have to search you before you go in. So these random guys showing up during a time when the school would definitely be closed with a bunch of boxes containing who knows what is just completely fake as well.
We're gonna steal all this.
So again, I'm not going to belabor the issue with these gentlemen being in there when they clearly would need some kind of guest pass. You can't just walk into a high school, and especially with wheelbarrows full of boxes. And I don't even if they immediately recognize you as MrBeast, they're not going to give you the free pass and your random friends. Like, it's just not something that's going to happen. I used to go to my old high school just to visit my teacher who was sick, and every single time, if I walked in with nothing, I still needed a pass. So like, there's no way this would happen, and I don't want to belabor that point, but it's just pretty obvious. Like, this one teacher would not be able to grant permission for these guys to leave these PS5s on all the desks, and this is an issue I wanted to get into. Like, that just doesn't make sense with his story. So apparently he gives away fake money because he doesn't want people to have a chance of being robbed, or you know, these people are getting the money and they could be in danger, which is fine. I completely understand that. But like, here's this lady with this giant bag of money, and like, it doesn't make a difference if it's fake or not. He had the bag open, he was showing it. Like, this is in a apartment complex that we can assume is not the highest financially able of people, so people that might be more inclined to steal. And he's just given this property manager this, what anyone else is still going to see as actual money, a money full of bag. He's giving it to her, so he's still putting her in the exact same danger as she would be if he's giving her real money. So like, is this real money, or does he just do that sometimes? And again, even if he did, it just doesn't make sense in the situations. If you remember earlier, he just plopped the same different duffel bag of fake money on this guy's counter. Like, anybody could have seen that and then robbed the restaurant owner. So that's what I don't get about his rhyming and reasoning of why he doesn't use real money. Now, that was in her case. And again, just something else, like, there's a reason, like on leases, it says preferred that you use electronic payment. It's because property managers can be very dishonest if they're paid in cash. There's absolutely no record of it. So even if MrBeast is like trying to be a nice guy, which I know isn't the case, this lady could just take these people's money. Like, I think like a better way of proving he's not full of shit would be like seeing the reactions of multiple tenants coming out, like finding out that their rent's been paid. But we don't see that. It's just him and her by themselves in a parking lot. He gives her a bag, and then we just assume everybody in these two complexes, rent was paid. Like, there's not only is there no proof, but he actually goes to lengths to cut out any possible opportunities of proof. And here's another example. They're in here at Best Buy. They're buying these PS5s, and they're stacking them on the counter. And this guy's just standing there. Like, if he's an employee, why isn't he ringing them up? Like, Carl's behind the counter basically with him. And none of it makes sense. Like, they don't show themselves buying any of this stuff. They just have a cart full of stuff. He's watching them, and then they cut to the next scene, and it's literally this. Like, they don't show the process of the sale. So like, if they could have added 7 seconds to show, okay, this is a guy ringing up an order, then we have some proof. But, and I understand the burden of proof isn't like completely on MrBeast, But in situations like this, when he's just going to say, oh, look at this, I'm buying all these things, and then they cut the couple seconds, like it would take this guy to start ringing even, because we don't even see him ring one item. And then bam, it's like now we're here. And back to my original point, and this is why the stuff I wanted to point out. Right here is the Alabama Crimson Tide logo, and that's the elephant, elephant. And then here's the Greenville. It says, let's go Greenville. So we have two conflicting things right here. I don't know what school they are supposed to be at, if it's supposed to be this Alabama University or if it's supposed to be a high school. Right here, you can see as they walk in, you got Greenville to the left, but Alabama is very clearly on their bulletin board, which I find odd. They have this high school, this apparent high school, has more university pennants and logos than they do for their own school, and it's not even in the same state. So there's just too many continuity errors with MrBeast, and it just doesn't add up. And then we come here, and this is the one person that we can't even take her word for it, but she's the one supposed authority figure at the school. We're to believe she's a teacher who is going to be wheeling in the VHS to teach the kids the Dean Martin Celebrity Roast, because it's a VHS. I have it. So I know that's a box set. It's not a book. And I also know that that's not something you're teaching kids that are also learning anatomy. Like, it just seems like this guy throws a bunch of things together that look like they belong, but they don't. And it doesn't make sense. Why would you be bringing this to school? But yeah, so going back to the schools, this school is actually the Rampants, is the name of this school. The J.H. Rose Rampants, okay? And this high school has no affiliation with Alabama whatsoever. And you can see the Alabama pennant in the same picture. So like something's off here. So like when I looked into the high school and I tried to find any kind of correlation with like Alabama, there's nothing. So then I thought, okay, well, maybe J.H. Rose, MrBeast, right? Like if he did this at this high school, which is indicating, like I'll show you just so you know, it is the J.H. Rose Rampants. It's the same logo that you just saw. It's in Greenville, North Carolina, and there it is, J.H. Rose. So that's the logo you just saw. You would think that the school, somebody would put out an article saying MrBeast came by this high school and gave all these students a free PS5, but there's nothing. The only thing you can find is, interestingly enough, because of a mutual connection, Javier Limon was hired by MrBeast's team 2 years ago. That is the only article. So it's just odd that they would cover that, but not him giving the teacher probably half of your salary in 1 minute, and then also helping out all these students. And there's going to be plenty of more things to come up. I don't want to make this video too long-winded. It just, again, the continuity errors just don't make sense. Like, unless you can tell me that plastered all over your high school is other different colleges from different states. And again, like another thing that I noticed is if you look at the clock, now I'm going to zoom in and get a better picture later, but it's like about 6:30 here. Now they supposedly came straight from Best Buy. They're in the same clothes, so Best Buy wouldn't be open then. So like nothing in the video makes sense. So I guess you can argue, well, it's 6 p.m. Well, that's heavily not implied by the way, A, it's like really light out when they're outside, and B, the teacher wouldn't be sitting at her desk, I don't think, at 6:30 p.m. Like, it's
We're gonna load up on.
The fake money mountain. The mountain of fake money.
We checked back in with Jacob, but after digging for hours, he wasn't even close to finding the key.
Oh, I've really.
I don't know if you guys ever like dug through cold soil, but he wouldn't still be there after hours, like hours and hours and hours of doing that. He would be so incredibly exhausted, so incredibly tired, so fatigued, he would be passing out after only a couple hours of doing the physical labor of digging through and lifting up a bunch of cold soil for hours. There's no way.
I decided to surprise him with something to help speed things up.
I got a surprise for you. And boom! Hop on.
Now, this here is an excavator, which has a lot of complex controls in here. That these things are operated by professionals and people that have licenses to do such things. So apparently Jimmy over here rented an excavator and gave it to this guy who is somehow not fatigued at all. So do you really expect me to believe that they found this guy, just a random MrBeast subscriber out in the middle of nowhere, who Ubered to this random location, who spent hours digging through cold soil, who doesn't even seem slightly exhausted, who is also licensed and experienced with operating an excavator? Do you believe any of that? How does anyone believe that this is real? Let's watch a little bit more here. Oh, also before I do, he is definitely within range to completely demolish that car from the range that he's at. If he was inexperienced, he could destroy that car completely. So, yeah, I don't know how people believe that this is actually a real thing.
I hope you enjoy your new toy, Don't Die.
I won't die because I got a car to win.
Makes sense.
Thankfully, he didn't die, but the first thing he did with the excavator was actually smash a PlayStation 5.
Now, again, how do we know there's a PlayStation 5 in here? They show this much. We can't see anything. And how would he just destroy it unless they just, like, buried a PS5 in the dirt? Like, I don't even know why he would say that. Like, there wasn't a PS5 right there. In the last clip right here, there are no PlayStation 5s in the dirt.
Didn't die, but the first thing he did with the excavator was actually smash a PlayStation 5.
So that's a lie.
I don't know.
I got faith in it.
Now I'm gonna order food and leave the delivery person a gigantic tip. Let's go tip the driver.
So now, during this part, they call in a delivery driver to show up at someone's house. I don't know whose house this actually is. And there's this delivery driver here.
Awesome, thank you. Wait, real quick before you go, I wanted to give you a tip.
Here you go.
And again, these are all singles. Again, from the pile earlier that was made up of completely fake money. And if she's a delivery driver and she would be leaving the property right after this, why wouldn't they write her a check? Again, the inconsistency of these videos is just crazy to me.
There you go.
Have you ever seen our channel? Good, because you just delivered our food. Thank you for the food.
I've never been tipped like this ever.
Well, I'd be surprised if...
And again, she's also not even slightly excited, like, oh, I've never been tipped like this before, while holding apparently thousands upon thousands of dollars. She's just holding almost more money than she can hold, and she's like, wow, yep, I've never been donated this much money before. Like, interesting reaction, you know. I really do believe that that's real.
Someone else did tip you 10 grand.
This
Carl!
is 10 grand?
Oh yeah, I guess we should have told her that.
I DoorDash to pay all of my bills right now, like to get my rent and everything like that. So like this is just like a huge weight off my shoulders right now.
It's a huge weight off my shoulders right now, as I'm holding $10,000. Like, not even any type of crazy reaction. This is probably like her salary, like an entire year's salary for a DoorDash driver, and she's just standing there like, wow, yep, that's crazy. Like, what? How do people think that this is real?
So again, there's a lot to cover here. Like, there's so many things that just don't make sense. But like, let's go back to the main one, which is what I was saying in the beginning. He says that he doesn't want to put people in danger, right? So that's why he writes the check afterwards. But again, just like the property manager, only this is even more blatant, because he has the delivery driver, an Uber driver, and they're just stockpiling money onto her, like, as she opens the door. It's just one of the most, if anybody's outside looking at this, they're going to see her, and they're not going to just assume it's fake money. So, like, I don't understand when he says he does it to protect people. Delivery drivers have one of the most dangerous jobs, if you're going by who gets attacked and mugged. So this just doesn't seem to make any sense. Why didn't he just tip her like most people do online, and then when she arrived, he could have said, like, look at your phone or something, you know, or tipped her online there. And then now we have proof he is actually giving this money to people, and it doesn't freaking put this lady in ridiculous danger. And the reactions, I think they're ridiculous too. I really do. Like, they're just completely, they're illogical. But, like, I don't want to knock her for a lack of reaction, or the teacher or anyone else, because if you can't tell, I'm a monotonous person myself. But I can when it just seems rehearsed. And like the way she just like recites, wow, I DoorDash or I do Uber to pay my living. This is going to save my life. It's just, it's ridiculous. Like, nobody has this stoic look on their face as they're holding this kind of money. Like, it goes against logic. And then, I know this part's been approached pretty extensively, but again, like, this guy, there is no way this random dude is a MrBeast subscriber. Like, first off, let's be honest. Like, most of MrBeast subscribers are children, and I guess the excavator bit wouldn't have worked then. But like, the odds of this guy being a random subscriber to MrBeast are slim to none. And if he did just somehow damage this PS5, which I'm guessing would have to have been completely out of the shot. Like, there's no way they just buried it. Like, they went to Best Buy, and this field was already constructed, and the keys were already buried. So it doesn't make sense that he just damaged his PS5, unless he was so out of control and reckless and inexperienced on an excavator that he just knocked something completely nowhere near the car, or even where he's supposed to be digging, and he just knocked it out. Like, it sounds more like Jimmy jumped on there for a second and just didn't know what he was doing. But again, like, this is another example of him saying, I got this, and then it just shows up. Like, we don't know who brought this excavator here. Just like we don't know who got the car, because he just literally shows up in the field and the car is just sitting there. We don't see him go to the place, Jimmy I'm talking about, of course, and get this car. And that would be helpful to, like, you know, just showing. And maybe he picks the guy up in the car, like Rylek's saying. This guy just randomly shows up, and it doesn't make any sense. Wouldn't it make more sense to have Jimmy, like, buy the car, pick the guy up in it, bring him here, and then go over the challenge maybe while they're driving over here, versus he just cuts back and forth to different things, and then an excavator just appeared, oh, a car just appeared. And again, like, he supposedly he has to have done this at a very early time. It was 6:30, unless we were to assume both clocks in the school are broke. So he had to have got up way before 6:30 to make sure this random subscriber was Ubered, apparently, to the right place. He had to go to Best Buy before they were open, go to the school, drop off all the stuff, and then we're to presume he came over and tipped the DoorDash girl, and now he's rented an excavator and it's been dropped off for this guy. It doesn't make sense. Like, there's no way like, even if he had everything lined up, like, to be dropped off exactly, he knew the guy wasn't going to be able to get it, so he was going to do the excavator anyway. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't, especially when you see in a few minutes how this guy works an excavator. So right now, he seems like he's kind of learning it, right? He's learning how to use an excavator. He damaged something that was not intended to be damaged. So I just find it hard to believe, you know, what we're going to see in a little bit. His skills seem to get better. Maybe he's just a very fast learner. You know, I've never been on an excavator. I do know people in construction sites that need commercial licenses to operate them, and even when they get a license, it's not something that you just do on your free time. It's for digging up. It's actually for causing mini tremors under the dirt. So, like, that's another thing. This would actually be counterintuitive, because him to be digging, like, these keys were supposedly buried, and I would imagine Jimmy didn't go 10 feet deep. So, like, an excavator helps if something's like 10 feet deep. Here, a metal detector would help. All an excavator would do, like Riker said, it would either just demolish the key, or it would be nowhere near where it started by the time this guy finished going over everything. So there's just so much of this that just, again, it doesn't even make sense. Jimmy just says something, and maybe because it's mostly kids that watch this stuff, they just like take it at face value, like, oh yeah, this guy probably was a subscriber who happened to know how to use an excavator, who just happened to crush a PS5, and now he's going to proceed to dig for the key. And it gets more ridiculous, I think, once you notice it. Like once you actually notice that these people are actors. Like there's always, like, if you could look at the guy in the background, like they're always making sure to smile, like look at the cameras, like during certain shots, and then like it's just so phony. There's also another interesting thing that, again, the way if he really was trying to find these keys, and he's using the excavator, he's doing it completely wrong, and you'll see that in the next clip.
This guy who apparently already knew how to perfectly operate an excavator is now digging around this plot of land that looks like it has nothing buried anywhere. Okay, dude.
Oh my goodness. Yo, what?
This looks like a quarry.
So much has changed. Look at how the car is entrenched in the middle.
So even if he got the keys, he wouldn't be able to drive this out of there. But okay.
That is peak comedy.
I'm gonna give him some hints.
You're probably wondering, why am I standing here?
I am wondering.
I don't have any reason why I'm standing here. I just like standing here. Let me see if I can make the hint a little better without giving away. Dig here.
Dig there.
Let's go.
If you guys haven't picked it up, this isn't a random MrBeast subscriber. They likely just got in contact with some guy, some dude who works in an excavator, or like who uses an excavator for his job on the daily, and then just we're like, hey, come be in this video for us to make it more entertaining, I guess. I don't know, but it's not just some random guy that Ubered there 99.9%, because how would some random guy on the street know how to operate one of these things?
I'm gonna get to work. I'm definitely gonna find them.
Especially without a license. I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
Oh. This is definitely killing me. The anticipation of just finding these keys.
No way.
So apparently, this single key, this single tiny little key, was buried down there. Now, I would say this is even more difficult than finding a needle in a haystack, because this key, this small, tiny piece of metal that could have been easily lost anywhere in this pile of dirt, just perfectly appears right at the edge, perfect for them to grab. So, he dug out this part of the ground, and then the key is just perfectly sitting right there. It's not anywhere in the middle of the dirt pile where it would probably be. It's just in the middle of right there, where he can perfectly and easily grab it. It was totally not planted there by MrBeast and his friends. Totally not.
No way. What's that?
Also, chances are, while grabbing that out of the ground, there is a very high likelihood that he would have broken the key in half. But, okay.
Show the camera.
And he shows about, I'd say, maybe about one frame that looks like a car key, but really doesn't show anything else about that.
After like 15 hours of searching, you found it. What do you want to tell the world?
If you guys ain't subscribed to MrBeast, I would definitely subscribe to him. This is like the greatest event that I've ever had.
Yeah, if you win a car from someone, your first response is definitely to say the line, and that is not scripted at all, by the way, is saying, subscribe to them, instead of saying, thank you, or I'm glad I had the determination to do this, or never give up. He says, subscribe to MrBeast. Like, yeah, it's definitely not scripted at all.
You're now at Cookout. Are you happy?
Yes, not yet, actually. I need to get food.
Here's your food. Can I have the briefcase? Since you made Chandler happy, here's a $10,000 tip.
Now again, the pile of singles that was in that pile would not fit in this briefcase. A 10,000 singles would not fit in here. And I can guarantee you that if you're working at a fast food place and someone started passing you a briefcase you would probably close the window and call your manager or call the police because, oh, you know, it's just a briefcase. You know, nothing suspicious about someone giving you a random briefcase and telling you to open it in a drive-thru. And apparently they just took this briefcase full of apparently $10,000 that can magically fit in this briefcase. Okay.
What do you think?
Nothing really happens to me like this. I'm gonna use it, help my parents. We've been going through a lot. Thank you so much.
We have now.
And they're in a drive-thru, by the way. So if the thing was true about him giving out, you know, like a check after, you know, giving them the pile of cash, then why would he need the briefcase? And if he's in a drive-thru, wouldn't he just be like driving away right after? It's not like he just has time to find their name and then write a check while in a drive-thru line. So again, it's just completely fake.
I'll return to the Money Mountain again. Although it's not really a money mountain anymore.
Now it's kind of a money hill.
We're making great progress. Let's keep it going. This is Michael.
So again, this is the comical kind of stuff that made me, because I had watched a bunch of MrBeast videos, and they're kind of ones you don't really question. You just watch them, and then you feel like an idiot when you see how ridiculous it sounds. But yeah, so when I actually looked for other perspectives to MrBeast, you know, that he actually is doing these things, and so I looked into the videos, and Rylick, who gave me permission to use his material in my video, he just had the most obviously ridiculous moments that he points out here of there's just no way that this guy is a random MrBeast subscriber. A, based off of the way he acts. B, based off of just how he manages to somehow be not only a excavator craftsman, but he is a freaking Houdini of excavators. I mean, he's not just digging here. The guy, I mean, he literally digs a perfect circle to leave the car on like some kind of mountain. Like the whole, this just honestly makes me feel like the whole red circle here is literally just so the guy knows to dig it, and like this is where to fucking start digging, because like it doesn't even make sense if you think about it. Like there's no way that, and I'm not a genius, but point A to point B is the quickest way, like, you know, as far as covering distance. So I don't know why he wouldn't have just gone across a couple times, like, you know, like across where the front is, probably 2 or 3 times, and then the back end of the car, instead of just driving up endless circles around this car. And what to me, what's the most illogical of all of it is, again, like, so here you see he's facing the opposite direction that he actually winds up finishing in. You see here he's actually facing the car, and here he's going the other way. So it's no proof of anything. It's just showing that this dude isn't really looking for the key as much as he's digging a circle, which looks cool. But there's no way that even if the key was buried exactly where Jimmy supposedly buried it, after this guy is using an excavator to go anywhere from, because if you look at how high the car is, like, or even the mound that it's on, and how deep he has to go below that even to dig out the excavator, it's got to be like 6 to 8 feet deep that this key is buried. So there's no way that, unless Jimmy purposely dug a grave-sized hole for a key, there's no reason to believe that this excavator would be helping. If anything, it would just be throwing the key all over the place, and nobody would be able to find it at all. So it's just so illogical to believe that this guy found the key in this manner. And then if you look, this is like a proof of these people being actors. Like, why is this face? Because the only reason he'd be making this face would be if the key was like, there was like a metal detector, and it was starting to indicate there was a key nearby. He's been aimlessly flipping up dirt for about 12 hours. Like, why would he just assume now he's got the sweet spot, even if Jimmy's telling him the key's nearby? And like, this is before he even lifts the control. You can see his hands on the button. He's in the process of lifting up the dirt, and then he finds the key. Of course, it's like, as you saw, just somehow wedged in there. but he didn't know that. So like this face just screams of somebody that's trying to act. And then afterwards, again, it's like 30 degrees in a North Carolina winter. The high is like 50 something. I would presume to say it's winter because he started with a long sleeve shirt and now he's got that, a hoodie, and like a fleece on top of that, like a denim jacket. So it's gotta be winter, or it's late fall and it's still 40 something degrees. And this guy was digging by hand for hours. Then gets in an excavator for hours. And in this cold, he's just chilling there. Like, he's not shaking. He's not like trying to do anything. He's just chill. Oh man, you know, subscribe to this guy and maybe you'll be able to do this and win a car. It's just so ridiculous. Like, I don't understand how people, not only people believe it, but the few videos that point out how ridiculous it is, they get attacked. And then here's another one, like, as was pointed out by Rylick, there's no way these people would just let this guy throw a briefcase of what could be anything through a drive-thru. They got masks on, as did he. I believe his mask was on, but it's not like people just recognize MrBeast everywhere, you know, like especially a few years ago when he was doing this at first. So it's not like everyone's going to notice who MrBeast is. So some random guy giving you money, fake money, it's going to raise some eyebrows. And even, again, let's assume it's real. Then he's going against where he says, oh yeah, I just give him fake money because I don't want them to get harmed, and then I give him a check. Even if he circled back around the drive-thru here, which, you know, I seriously doubt he did, but let's say he did, or he parked the car and then went inside and got the information. The episode where they open the MrBeast restaurant, they literally have cars piled up. You can see the video. Cars piled up 3, 4, 5 miles back waiting for food. And they're just dumping money in the bags and running money out to cars. And these people are driving right off. So there's no way that money is fake. And if it is, he just gave them fake money. Because there's no way those people are all going to, while Jimmy and them are trying to run a restaurant, there's no way that these people are going to go back after or wait around after being handed their money so they can all exchange information and get checks. So again, you can just see with these cuts, there's never proof that he's actually doing anything. But yeah, to me, the excavator guy was just the most obvious. I mean, again, that is not a man that is in his middle ages that subscribed to MrBeast, who MrBeast randomly reached out to. And again, MrBeast is so vague. This guy could be anybody. I mean, it's funny that it was brought up. I honestly thought, like, what if this guy's Carl's uncle? The first time I watched this video made by Rylick, and sure enough, he brought it up too, because it makes sense. Like, hey, you know how to work this thing? We need help in a video. And that's all you ever see. You see a lady in what appears to be a classroom. We don't know who she is. She says she's a teacher. We see some random supposed Uber driver, and they all have the same reactions. It's not excitement. It's like they knew they were getting this stuff when they came, or they knew they were just getting paid to talk. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to be doing other ones. I'm going to go into his fake island, which is a joke. But I wanted to start with this one because there was some context on it already. And between the teacher and this dude and all the other people that are randomly just, you know, finding their way into getting the money from MrBeast, and there's no context, it just appears, they just appear. I don't know how people believe it at this point. I really don't. I understand most of his audience is children, but you know, you start looking and you only need so many contradictions before something's just illogical. So, and again, apparently the timeline of this day, to wrap it up, MrBeast must have got up around 4 to 5 o'clock. At that point, I presume he set the car up. He might have had it set up the night before, but he went to Best Buy. He bought all those supplies before the store was open. I guess someone let him in. Went to the school before the school was open. I guess someone let him in. Put all the stuff on the people's desks. Then he comes here. Then he goes and gets the Uber ride. He comes back here. I mean, it's so illogical if you think about it. You know, like, there's no way he could have done this all, planned it, and had it all just on a John Kramer from Jigsaw like level where he just knew exactly what was going to be needed. So yeah, in my mind, there's no doubt that his videos are fake. I'll cover every one of them too. I mean, every single one is like this. It's not like I'm just picking out random stuff. To me, the island is the most obvious, and I'm going to cover that in the next video. So, hope you guys like this. Like I said, I want people seeing the truth, and the fact that I see adults not even calling out this person, I just really don't understand. But yeah, stay tuned for the island video. I hope you like that. You'll see it is definitely not an island, let alone his that he just bought. And just let me know what you think in the comments.